So now it's really time to get started with Flutter and learn all about its details. We're pretty much done getting started. In the next course module, we'll dive into all the important basics of Flutter, and you will learn all about how Flutter works, the core widgets there, how you build user interfaces with the widgets, and so on. So that will be a crucial module, of course. Thereafter, we'll dive into debugging because, of course, things can go wrong during development, and finding and fixing errors is an important part of being a developer. So we'll have a look at how that works in the debugging section. Before we then have a section where we dive deeper into the basics, if you will, dive deeper into available widgets, into how to style and customize your widgets, how to add more logic to your application, and in general, build more realistic applications. Now, it is worth mentioning that all of these concepts are not just taught in boring theory, but that we build full apps, and not just one app throughout the entire course, but we do have an app for the basics section, we do have a different app for the more widget section, and throughout the course we'll have a couple of applications, some apps only for one section, some apps which are used by multiple sections to show different concepts. This also gives you the advantage that if you come back to the course after a while, or you want to skip certain sections, you don't miss a large chunk of a project we're working on. Instead, many sections have their own projects, and therefore it's easier to get into them. Now, after having a closer look at styling and building more realistic widgets, you will also learn how to build responsive and adaptive user interfaces. Responsive simply means that you have user interfaces that look good on different device sizes. Adaptive means that your user interface adapts to the underlying platform, so to Android or iOS, and for example, renders different widgets or a different layout if you want to. After that, you'll have a solid understanding of the core foundations of Flutter, of the fundamentals if you want to call it like that. And therefore, we'll then dig deeper into the internals. We'll have a look at how Flutter and its widgets work internally, how the app is re-rendered when something changes, and how you can optimize your code to improve the performance and improve how your app works. With that out of the way, it's time for a new app and a brand new topic, navigation and multiple screens. Up to this point in the course, we'll always have worked on one screen only, but most apps have more than one screen. You might have a product screen and a card screen and a user profile screen, and here you will learn how to set up different screens and how to navigate between them so that you can switch pages in your app. It's around that time that we will also see that for bigger apps, it can get pretty cumbersome to manage the data correctly, the data our app or the different parts of our app needs. And therefore, we'll then have a look at state management. This is a super important course module where we will dive into the different options you have when it comes to managing data and state, which is in the end just a different term for data that changes, you could say. How you can manage that in bigger applications, how you can pass it around effectively, how you can make sure that when something changes in a certain place in your app, all places that depend on it are updated efficiently. And we'll have a thorough look at this in this module, and for this we'll also start a brand new project, just as we did in the navigation and multiple screens section. We'll then build up on that and dive into how you can manage user input and forms, so how you can fetch email addresses or URLs or numbers and have the user enter such data, before we then learn how to connect our Flutter app to the web. Because up to this point, we always just worked on the device, but some data needs to be stored in a database in the web. And therefore here you will learn how to reach out to the web, how to reach out to such a database and store your data there or get it from there. Now, most applications also need some form of authentication, and therefore it's then time to dive into user authentication and learn how you can log users in, sign them up, log them out, and manage their session across the lifetime of your app. Really, really important for many applications, of course. After that, we'll have a look at animations. Animations are a crucial part of applications because they allow you to give the user a better feedback regarding what changed on the screen. And you will learn all about the built-in animation techniques Flutter offers and how you can use them to create great user experiences and user interfaces. Now, most native apps also need access to certain device features like the camera, maps, on-device storage, things like that. And therefore, this is also something we'll have a thorough look at in this module then. We'll again build a brand new application for this module here, and you will learn how to use the device camera, take an image, store that image, how to store it on the device, and also how to use Google Maps or get the user's location. Now, sometimes you need some native device feature which isn't built into Flutter, where you have no easy way of accessing it through Flutter. Now, for camera and maps, that is built in, but maybe you have some use case where it's not built in. Well, then you will also learn how you can run native device code. So Java code for Android, for example, or Swift code for iOS, how you can run such code and connect it to your Flutter app so that you still have one project, but in case it's missing, it's not built into Flutter, you can actually run native device code triggered from inside your Flutter app. That's a really cool feature, and we'll cover this in this course as well. Now, once all of that is done, it's of course time to publish the app. And I will show you how you can build and optimize your app and then publish it to the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. Well, and with that, we're done. I'll then round up the course, show you some next steps on how you can continue, and actually also give you a blueprint, you could say, for how you can develop great apps, which different phases are involved, and what my recommendations regarding that are. So definitely check that out as well. So as you can tell, there's a bunch of content in this course. I hope you'll like it. We have a bunch of apps we're building, and by the end of the course, you should therefore feel really confident to build amazing Flutter apps and build any app you want with the help of Flutter.